I don't want to go through a bunch of raw footage of me doing an intro, so I'm going to let you do the intro.
Welcome to Slingshot Disc Golf, guys. This is Coach T, Coach T 2.0. My name is Tyee, and we're getting right into it. We're going to be talking about back leg disc golf explained part 2.
Don't watch this video until you watch the first one. We'll leave a link in the description. But I'm not on here to bash front leg disc golf or promote back leg disc golf is the only way. The reason that I'm making these videos is because I want the people who do watch the channel and want to learn this way to understand the difference. So I am going to be comparing it to front leg disc golf in this video, but hopefully I won't be doing that anymore, and I'm just going to focus on the slingshot method. We got a new slingshot coach. I couldn't be happier. Effortless form. Not even close to where he's going to be yet. Follow Tyee on Instagram too, because he teaches the same stuff, and he's got his own way of teaching it that resonates with a lot of people. So let's get into it. Weight shift and the brace. Where is your weight at? How do you shift it? And how do you brace if you're not putting all your weight on the front leg? I'm gonna explain the general idea of the brace and the weight shift of front leg disc golf. So if you get on the balls of your feet and you rock back and forth, where you can feel your weight go over here, 100% of that weight is on top of it. Left, right, left, right. And now you'll see that. That's what it looks like. Back leg disc golf will look like this. Front leg disc golf, weight 100% on that leg, and then you make the move. Back leg disc golf, it's not 100% weight on the back leg. That's 100% weight on the back leg. That would just be front leg disc golf to the other extreme. That's not what's happening here. I guess we could call it both leg disc golf because you use both legs. Kind of do the front leg thing and tell me where your weight feels like it's at.
Here.
100%.
100% over here. Yep.
Actually, hold on, I'll get more in the light there. Okay. Okay, now I want you to get in just an athletic stance, balls of your feet. We're gonna refer to it as pressure. So right now you're 50% pressure. So you're in the middle, so it's 50% on each side, right? Mm-hmm. You can feel that.
Yep.
When you come into the brace for a front leg brace, you're just coming all the way on top of it. So what people want to know is, how do you come into the brace without putting all your weight on it? And it's a legitimate question. I want you to start here, ball of your foot, knee bent, and I want you to drift the weight here, and I want you to bounce back. When you come here, you're coming into it like a sports move, just like football, so your heel's not touching.
Right.
And when you come into this without coiling or anything, I want you to push back. I also want you to feel the pressure over here the whole time. Perfect. What do you feel when you're doing that?
So
pressure-wise.
Predominantly, I feel most of the pressure in this back leg. And then the pressure I do feel in the front has nothing to actually feel through here of this leg. It's more so the outside of the foot. That's predominantly where I'm feeling things, is right here. I mean, you could even see it in my shoe.
So there's a quick answer. You use both legs, you have pressure on both legs. Let's talk about coiling now.
Cool.
So now, if you stand there in a neutral position, 50-50, and you do what we call the lower back core coil, I'm sure you have ways of naming it, like that. Tell me what happens to your pressure. And now let's be clear, he's not going over it and dipping the toe in the water. We do not have 100% weight here.
Yep.
Where do you feel the pressure?
Right through here. Yeah,
but you feel pressure on that leg too.
There is. Yeah, I think it's more so for like, there's stability, right?
Yeah.
There's pressure there because I can't just pull everything back here because then my foot comes up. This whole leg is engaged. There's a bunch of flexing muscles that
loaded.
Are here. It's loaded.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, the pressure is here and here and here. The whole leg loaded. The pressure is in the foot.
Yep.
But not in the leg.
Not in the leg.
Okay.
Yeah. Not like any of the muscles essentially from the ankle up, they don't really necessarily feel engaged. It's like the pressure is totally grounded through the foot.
So I think it's safe to assume that there's some kind of weight pressure on both legs.
Yep.
But you have to load that back leg. And let's remember, the reason I don't like to do science terms is because it is feel. You got to go out and feel this. If I'm going to coil and drift into it, and we have that pressure that's kind of divided. Maybe it's 70-30, I'm not going to get into those numbers. I think it's just important to know that you're using both legs. But ultimately, if we add an X step, which is the complicated question here, what do you do with momentum? Because momentum is lateral and it makes your back leg come off the ground. So it's very confusing. And this is why it takes the back leg strength, is because you have to come into it and have that kind of pressure when you come into it, even with a run up. That means you have to set this leg down, come into it delicately, really. Yeah. Like football, I'm full pressure, but in football, I'm not coiling and loading. Right. So you have to balance your weight, let it drift, and come into this moment, and you'll be fully loaded. And let's say it's 70-30, loaded. Like Tyee said, the pressure's in the foot. It's not here, it's not here. Well, as you rotate, I can feel it pop to here. So let's say if it was 30% weight, now it's 40. Now I can feel the knee kind of, and now right here. So, and that's the power window, right? It's all done now. And then because if there's momentum, my foot will come off the ground. So you make the move and then it comes off the ground. And now your weight is fully braced there. But there's always this moment when you look at someone's form where there's a bunch of frames like that, where there is no body rotation and there's a lunge on the front side. If we take a look at Macbeth or Gibson or whoever, even if it looks like they're on their front foot, their weight is going this way. And then there's nothing but rotational frames, right? Even if Gibson's going down because he has a downward trajectory, which is a whole nother thing, you still see frame, 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 frame. You don't see that.
All right, dropping frames. Let's look at Coach T 2020. Take a look at your own form and really look for these frames. Are these the frames that you see? Okay, so right now my weight's over my back leg, and we're gonna see this weight tumble over the top with a big time lunge. This is a really extreme example. There's a lot in between. Right here, you're just gonna see a big time lunge right over the top. I kept this leg inactive on purpose because I was front leg disc golf, and watch it go right down over the top. Lunging right on top of it. Power pocket, 90 degrees, full body rotated, haven't rotated yet. All the weight lunged on the top. So this is the video where Paige talks about keeping 90% of the weight on the back foot. I don't think I wouldn't ever think about it in percentages, but she's talking about a loaded position. I think Paige probably has the best back leg mechanics in all of disc golf. Definitely pressure on the foot, but fully loaded right here. Every frame from here on out is rotational. With each rotational frame, this leg will absorb the weight and the pressure from the ground up. All right, this is Stratton. Before we started working together, I'm going to show us right after this. All down frames from here. Lunging over the top. Deactivated straight back leg. He doesn't get as many push-ups in now that he doesn't fall over the top, but he's still working out. He's still keeping it real. This is Stratton now. Balance and drift, come into it. Now it's all rotational frames from here, and you don't see that go over the top. Stratton won a mystery box last month for this shot right here.
Let's just focus on the run up now. An amateur will go like a metronome. Bop, 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 bop. 1, 2, 3. When that third step is in that, metronome beat with the first two, you go straight over the top. And you can't coil like in the first video. You have to have time to coil, and you have to have time to contain that weight to be able to get to this position where you're not over the leg. You're in the center, but you're still loaded here. You cannot do that and create that position if you run into this thing full speed. 1, 2, 1. Bop, bop, bop. If you're gonna balance and you're gonna coil the way we talked about in the first video, you have to buy yourself time to be able to do that, or you're not gonna be able to do it. Containing that weight as it goes over the leg, that's easy, that's not. We're playing baseball left-handed, and that takes a long time to develop. An exaggerated example. That's another reason why you can go so slow and throw so far, like these pros, right? What you're doing with the back leg and the weight is you're trying to gain leverage over your body weight. If I want to jump that way and I get in this position, the Heisman position basically, right? I can't jump that way. I can only jump up. If I want to jump that way, I need to gain leverage away from my leg. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to let my body weight go past that leg, and I'm going to feel my ball, my foot, and kind of a crinkle right there of like, oh, it's building power. Now I can jump. You don't see a pitcher go. You see them do that balance and drift to gain that leverage. Boom, almost hit you. Ow.
No,
Something wrong with the arm mechanics on that one. Ow. All this happens really fast. And that's why we start teaching it really slow. We do the jump back drills in the slingshot program where you'll coil or you'll bead this. There's a progression. And you practice coming into it and getting this feeling down instead of that. Right? Because coming into it with a fast run up is just, that's elite timing. So there's more than one way to do it.
Yep.
And there's a lot of area in between.
Yep.
I've seen myself, I've seen other people kind of go into this front leg, back leg / form while they're developing it. You don't just flip.
No.
It's a development that takes time. Yeah. All right, a lot more content to come with Tyee, and slingshots for everybody. That might be the one that actually goes.